Hey guys, it's Sam. This was harder than I thought this was going to be. This is going to be somewhere between a planner update slash flip through, and I almost lost my mind with my planner no buy, and my goodness, did I underestimate just how much I have in my head that another purchase is the answer for all of my planner woes. And I thought that I had a pretty good grip on how I was going to handle situations like this, but I underestimated, I guess, how difficult this was going to be after so many years of, oh, well, then I'll just buy something new. So I thought that I would come on and kind of give you a brief rundown about what happened in the last couple of weeks, or maybe more like the last week, and how I made it through without breaking my no buy. So hopefully you find this video helpful. I know a lot of people are interested in hearing how I handle situations just like this, which happened much more quickly than I was expecting. So if you would be interested in seeing a flip through of my planner and kind of a journey how I got here, stay tuned. I won't promise this will be the most brief video because I really want to go over like all the things that happened surrounding this. So if you're not into longer videos, then maybe this is a pass for you, and that's fine. Otherwise, grab yourself something warm to drink and settle in for a little planner chat. All right, so what had been happening is that I had been very happy using my B6 Stalogy, which I still love this notebook, and I fully believe that I will find myself back in this. I am definitely not saying that this is over for me. I've really liked it. I started making calendars, which I don't love handmade calendars, but I found a YouTube video with a like how-to of a calendar that I actually thought was decent. Of course, I sold all of my stickers that would date it because I don't use undated planners. And honestly, my plan for this was I knew that I needed something dated somewhere in this book. So I had purchased a few weeks before my planner no buy started some full sheet sticker paper that I would be able to print some freebie calendars onto and sticker them down into my notebook. But what I started thinking about was that I really just like flipping through this paper, and I didn't want like any stiff pieces of layered in things. So I was very torn between, do I get the feel of the notebook that I want, or do I get the look of a calendar that I want? And I just decided the other day, several days ago now, I don't even remember what day, to just go for it and start drawing these in. And I have said before that I'm not really a fan of seeing my own numbering as like an official, hi Gibby, as like an official calendar. And I know that's really like crazy weird, but it's just who I am. But I decided I was going to go with it because I had to choose which one of these things I was going to like the least. I decided that I would like the least having pages pasted in, or I knew I didn't want them pasted or washi taped in. I know a lot of people do that. I just don't like the way it looks and feels. And so I thought that the best idea would be to use a sticker paper so that like there were no pieces of anything sticking up anywhere, and that would make me the most happy. But then when I was confronted with that, I just decided I still don't think that's the answer. So I went ahead and I drew in 2 months and then put my immediate dates in, and then I made all of the, this is where the rest of the months go. And then I was like, okay, so this is good now. This is good. But again, what I was talking about in my last video, which is why I was deciding to move to personal rings, was that I then find myself really liking the ability to just do whatever in this kind of bullet journal, whatever this is. It's a hybrid something. But then when I have, this is what I didn't buy, this is what my wish list is, all of those things, I don't have a place to put them all together. And I thought that the solution would be to use tabs, which is perfectly fine. but I also don't like the visual clutter of all of those tabs. And I always think when I see other people using the tabs in their Instagram photos, or if they do like a flip through reel or whatever, I always think it looks so neat and endearing. And when I do it, I never think that it looks right, and I think that it looks messy. And I don't see it as, oh yeah, I'm gonna turn to this, this, and this. I guess it's just because fewer tabs in my head for rings, and the Hobonichi weeks where you have the little, this is what I use for tabs for the Hobonichi weeks. They're just so clean and minimal. And when I see all of those tabs in my planner, I think, oh, that's a disorganized mess, and how is that going to help me find where I'm going? And so I thought, well, what is the answer to this problem? And of course, I decided that I had a couple of things happen all at once. And I know that this might also be hormonally speaking, this issue, which I have talked about this before. I suffer with PMDD, and around my cycle, my emotions sometimes get like out of control. And it doesn't happen every month, but it happens a lot. And now that I'm in perimenopause, things go not in a good order at all. So I'm currently not really having the most regular cycles. So I can't even tell you if that's it. I just know that this is a feeling that comes up when I'm dealing with my PMDD. So maybe it is, or maybe I'm just crazy. That's okay too. So a couple of things happened at the same time. Okay. I decided that the personal rings wasn't going to work for me because I was really mad at the insert that I ended up purchasing, which I talked about in my last video, and there was a lot of opinions. A lot of people were on the whole, no, it's a gift card, that's not cheating or whatever. And I'm glad that I posted the video before I made the purchase, because I actually had them in my cart, and I still do not have any kind of moral judgment against myself for if I had went ahead and purchased those. But I'm glad I mentioned it in the video and let it post before I did make the purchase. There was a lot of really thoughtful answers that were in that video, and it made me pause for a moment, and I thought through. I imagined myself going through the checkout. I imagined the inserts arriving. I imagined having them in my planner. And you know how we like build all of this, this is going to be the perfect solution. But in truth, the inserts that I was thinking about purchasing, they would work, but they still wouldn't have been the perfect insert for me. I still would have said, oh, you know what? I'd rather still have a place for my this and a place for my that. And those inserts that I was going to buy weren't going to be that. And then I thought, okay, so how much of what length of a solution is this going to be? Is this going to give me 1 day of planner peace? Is this going to give me a week? Is this going to give me a month? And still then, is this $18 good to spend on a 1 day, 2 week, or 1 month investment? And ultimately I decided I still wasn't settled enough to make the decision to use it, even if I wasn't considering it a cheat on my no buy. So when I decided to abandon that idea, I scrambled around with all of the things I still had with me. For whatever reason, I'm not enjoying my Hobonichi weeks at the moment, and I don't know what that is. I cannot pinpoint it, but it's just, maybe I'm bored, and that's okay too. So the Hobonichi weeks, I was like, okay, we'll just use this. That was out. Then I was like, okay, how about I just go with this because I love this notebook, I love this cover, I love what I've started here, and I'll just ignore the fact that I think that my thoughts are disorganized. And then I set up the calendar, and almost immediately after finishing the calendar, I just was, something just doesn't still feel right. And so then I have been using this, which I'm also going to go over with you because it's relevant to the whole no buy situation. I sold all of my Hobonichi A6s. So I had a cousin, I sold it. I had the English version, like the black diary looking version of the Hobonichi for 2024, sold it. And then I was left with the Han, I sold it. And the reason was because I'm very much enjoying this for what that was supposed to be. So I'll go over this in a second. But this as a daily, I need a week view. So this was still not the answer. I knew that this was working for what I wanted it to be, but I wasn't going to be able to transform it into my daily carry planner. And so then I was left with what I gave myself for the rest of the year, which was, I have the Hobonichi weeks, which wasn't going to work. And then I have just a Passport TN monthly calendar. And I thought, well, I could pair that with field notes and make something. And I knew that that wasn't going to be it. So then I had a complete mental breakdown because I was like, why don't you deserve to try something that's going to work for you? And I was like, why didn't I give myself a weekly Moleskine planner to give as a try? Because I often feel like I need to carry something smaller. And although for weeks on end, I carried this book without any trouble, I suddenly was feeling like I wanted something smaller. And I was like, why didn't you give yourself the opportunity to have something super tiny to carry around with you? Because you know that you go through those moments of, I need more space and I want to carry less. And I went to Amazon and I was like, I'm just going to look. And so I looked around for the weekly Moleskines. I also looked at the Leuchtstroms. They have kind of a similar, but without those little tiny monthly boxes. And I had this moment. It was almost like a childlike temper tantrum, but it was internal in my head. And I was trying to tell myself how unfair I was being to myself to limit myself like this when I should just be able to go and purchase something. It was less than $20 or around $20. And how big of a deal is that? I have sold so many things and I still have so many things in my sell pile and all my cards are paid off and I have a little bit of money left over. And I thought, I have the money. Why am I limiting myself when I could just fix this with a purchase? And then all of the alarm bells started going off because I was talking myself into this. And then the alarm bells thankfully went off and I was like, whoa, hold on. First of all, you just told yourself that money was going to fix this problem. But what you've learned for the last several years is that you've put a whole bunch of money into the problem of feeling discontented with your system and it's never once fixed it. Right? It's only added to the confusion. Brought me to the place where I decided that I was going to do a plan or no buy to begin with. This is so much harder than I thought it was going to be. I am generally a person who is able to tell myself, I'm not going to this. Like I have gone over 9 months without sugar and I feel like that was easier than this. And I don't understand. But the good news is that I made it through to the other side. I thought it through. Another purchase is not going to be the answer. There are things about the Pocket Moleskine weekly planner that you just don't love. Even though that's going to give you the dated weeks, it's still not going to give you the organization that you want. And just because you haven't tried the Leuchtstrom doesn't mean that that's the answer either. It's practically the same and it's going to have the same downfalls. So then I thought, what do I have here that can make me feel better about my situation than I feel right now? So this isn't going to give me the organization that I want. This isn't going to give me the organization that I want. I wasn't feeling personal size and I decided that I was going to go back to try pocket size. The trick to pocket size working for me is that I have to have the right kind of inserts that give me enough space for writing because I don't have super small handwriting. I need to be able to feel like I can spread out as much as possible in this size and not feel like I'm scrunched in the same way as like a pocket Moleskine with those little tiny boxes. If I can't fit a word in, it's not going to work for me. And so since I was limited to not purchasing anything, I had to kind of get creative. So a lot of the inserts that are going to be in this are things that I have purchased through the years. I spent $0 yesterday setting this up. I had pocket size Filofax inserts, just the regular pocket size that I purchased in December at some point as just in case. but it still wasn't going to give me the tracking and list making and all of that I needed. So I knew I wasn't going to make that work either. Then I had a whole breakdown about what cover, like it went on and on, but I had a whole nice chat with myself about this, and I ended up being really happy with what I have here. It's kind of a hybrid system still, but I'm super happy with how it turned out, and I have this all thought through very well, and I have used Pocket Plus inserts very successfully in the past, and I know what works for me and I know what doesn't work for me, and I know that this is going to be good. I'm just going to turn off my blinders. This is going to give me the things that I'm telling myself that I need to check off boxes to have a successful setup, and so this is what I'm going with for now, and I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm putting on the blinders, and whether this lasts a week, a month, or several months, I didn't spend any money on it, so I don't have anything to feel guilty about either way. I did enjoy the setup process. I find printing inserts, cutting inserts, punching inserts to be quite calming and relaxing when I'm into it. Sometimes I just don't like the thought of having to go do it, which is where I was in the last video when I wanted to buy the inserts for Filofax, because I had it set in my head, you're not doing all of that this year, you're just going to make things easy on yourself. But the problem with making things easy is what you can buy ready-made generally doesn't have the, this is what works for me, tailored to, you know, choosing whatever inserts for whatever item you need in your planner. And so once I got out of my head that I was just going to need to do that, I was okay with the time. Actually enjoyed it quite a bit, except for the two inserts that I could not get to print correctly on our new printer. I know they've printed correctly before because I purchased them years ago. I don't know what happened, but those two inserts made me insane, and I'm gonna find some workarounds. So now for this part of the video, which is the setup of my Pocket, and then after that I'm going to talk about what I'm using this large daily moleskin for. So I decided for now that it's dark and dreary every day and the sun barely peeks its head out, and now that we're past the warm feeling of the holidays, I hate winter. I do love snow, and I woke up to a little bit of snow this morning, but overall I hate winter. I hate being cold, and so I decided black was in for this kind of moody feeling that I'm in, and so here we are. So this is a Luxe Pocket Moterm. They come with 30mm rings, but I have sized down to 25mm rings to go with the Pocket Plus. This is what works for me. I like it. This is what I'm going with. I have a few things layered here, but I don't have any. If you want to watch a video full of deco, this is not going to be it, because that's just not who I am. I have one of our family photos from our photo shoot that we did back in November here, just tucked in my pocket, nothing else. I don't have anything in here. I have some printed freebie planner calendar cards from Plan with B, but I didn't attach them. These are actually supposed to be in color, but my color didn't print out very nice, and I decided I was fine with the black and white version anyways, and it worked better with my planner setup, so black and white it is. All right, so all of the deco really in this is just here at the front, and I just have a few things layered. This is a Catspresso Pocket Plus. It's like a floral dashboard, and behind it I have just some patterned, what is this, acetate, right? I don't know, from Peanuts Planner Co. She does sometimes offer this in her shop if it's in stock. And then a couple years ago I put this, I think this is from Randy.Plans, just says Sam, and then I had a sweet package from, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, Camellia Plans on Instagram. She makes Hobonichi Weeks covers. I'm not sure about other sizes, but I know that she and her husband make covers, and when she found out that I was doing the no buy, she very kindly sent me a Hobonichi Weeks cover, which I now feel incredibly guilty because I, for whatever reason, am not using my Hobonichi Weeks. But she also sent me some of her favorite stickers and a couple pieces of ephemera, and so this one was in here, Music is Medicine for the Soul. Always into music, but I don't know, when I'm feeling really kind of jumbled up I listen to music even more. And so that was very fitting to me to put here right now. And then I just used this little paper clip. It's a square. I have no idea where I got it. And it's probably been years ago now. I couldn't tell you where it came from. But I just have those things all together just kind of to make a dashboard before I get into the rest of my planner inserts. So there is that. This is from the Peanuts Planner Co. yearly bundle. She does have a ton of freebies in her Facebook group. I have made multiple purchases from her over the years. Back in November, I purchased, I just decided to go ahead and purchase different sizes because I know how I am, but I purchased in the A6 size, the personal size, and the Franklin Covey compact size, because I knew if I purchased A6 I could size down to a Pocket Plus, or I could use A6 because I didn't know what I might end up in for the year, and it's not that expensive, so I just went ahead and purchased them all at the same time during a sale of hers. So it just has all of the year all at one glance, and then it also has the week number attached to it, and I really enjoy that. It's just a quick way to see the whole year at a glance. It does have a fold out here, and I'm honestly not sure how or if I will use this, but just this part is good enough for me to use. So I just have that calendar up there. And then this one is also part of that same bundle, and I went ahead and put it in. This is, again, a fold out. And I would suggest, if you are considering doing the same, in my opinion, for Peanuts Planner Co., it's better to take the A6 size and scale it down to 86%. I prefer that rather than doing the pocket size and scaling it up to 105%, just because I think with the pocket, most of her fold outs are a triple, and I would rather have a double fold, and so this one just folds over. Then you have it broken down by the quarter for the year. This is the only insert that I have in here that I don't know exactly what I'm doing with it yet, and that's okay. It's part of the bundle. I didn't spend any extra money on it back when I purchased it, and I figured it'll come to me what to use it for, or if I have gone the next couple of weeks or the next month and haven't used it, then I can take it out to save space, because I do like my planner to be as streamlined as possible. Again, these are all things that I have purchased in the past. There are a couple of new things in here, but again, I did not pay for them, so. And nobody else paid for them either. I don't want it to sound like I was trying to get away with something there, because I thought about it over the last week. I did, but I didn't do it. Okay, so this is from Plan with Bee. This is one of her freebies on her website. This is just an inbox. I love that it's simple. You just have a place to check it off. And again, like I said, for me, for Pocket Plus to work, I just need as much room as possible to write. So this is going to be my inbox. There's also a shopping list here. And the only thing that I will say that I don't like about these particular freebies is that it's only one per page and then one on the back. So I feel like you have a lot of wasted paper. So I'm going to try to use these as infrequently as possible, because I'd rather just use a scratch piece of paper for the shopping list and not think about the paper that I've wasted off on the side. But I like the way they look. I like the font on these, so I wanted to have them in my planner. This is one of the things that did not print out correctly, and again, I don't know why. I've tried all of the fixes. I tried printing on the short edge, I tried printing on the long edge, I tried everything, and no matter what I did, it printed incorrectly, and I do not know how to fix it. So this was a major loss. But I figured this isn't a kind of paper that I will probably need to carry long term. This is a spoke to log, and it just is, if I have to make a phone call to customer service about a bill or something, I want to be able to write that down and see it long enough to wait for like the next billing cycle to come or whatever. So this isn't something that needs to go in long term, and it's not a super serious insert to me. So the fact that it's upside down is okay. I would have obviously preferred for it to have printed correctly, but not a big deal. This entire before my sections section is really just all about the kind of note-taking aspects or checking calendars for quick glances section. So I have just some paper that is leftovers from things being printed on one side and not the other part of a page for like calendar inserts, or just scrap paper that I've cut up. And then these are grids, and this is part of a freebie also from Peanuts Planner Co. And this freebie has lined notes, a grid notes, a dot grid notes, and a couple of other things. And that's a freebie from her Facebook group. She has some very generous freebies. So I just have those. And then my section, my first section is my month section. These dividers are from Sweet Freckled Designs. So I purchased those back in November, and they are sized for Pocket Plus. And I will say that Plan with Bee also does not have any Pocket Plus inserts available, so I always just use her A6 size down. This is the Plan with Bee 24 Holidays, her freebie. This is a freebie as well from Peanuts Planner Co. This is from her Facebook group, and this is her monthly, and I really like this one. It's clean, it's simple, and it's got some places for you to have some additional things written down in your month. And so I have all of the things that I know I'm going to be pulling out regularly, I have slit so I can easily grab them. This is also from Sweet Freckle Designs, and this is Pocket Plus. It's just a moon phase little page marker, and I have one of these at the month and one of these at my current week. And that is my next section. And see why the Filofax insert wasn't going to work anyway? It doesn't have all of this organization. So I went ahead and I put in here the whole month of January. So I do have to go and back plan for last week, but that's okay. And I've really been sucking at doing any of these things, so I decided I was just gonna throw it in here, put the dates down, and not worry about it otherwise. So the thing that I really like about this insert, and this is something that I paid for, I think back in August. So Peanuts Planner Co., this is very, very close to her freebie on the Facebook group. I have edited it because it does say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday when you first get it. But I edited it to have the first half of the week on one side and the rest on the other. That's just the way my brain likes it to flow. But this is identical to the Facebook freebie, except for the Facebook freebie has a line going down here. But again, for Pocket Plus to work well for me, I like to have as much room to write as possible. So back in August, I did purchase a custom from her, and I was like, I just want the Facebook freebie, but I don't want the dividing line here. I used to always do a to do and a to buy, but I never really find myself using the to buy section as much, and I really wanted that width. So I did a custom, and again, I had a custom done in A6 because I knew I could size it down or use it as A6, Personal and Franklin Covey Compact. So I have a file with all of those that I have purchased, and this particular layout has worked well for me for a really long time. I don't usually have a crap ton of stuff going on in one particular day, so there's enough space for me to write a little snippet. There's enough space for me to put where I need to be on a particular day, and that's enough for me. The rest of the page layout is for things that I like to keep track of in a week. I like to keep a tracker, and this is where I'm going to put my fasting hours and what my workouts were. So I know that this will work really well for me because I have used it for a while in the past. The next section is health, and I'm probably just going to show you everything in here. I haven't really filled this out, but I have used all of these inserts before, so I know they're going to work really well for me. I just wanted to be able to show you everything before I started really filling things out. I just realized though I have not yet put a weight tracker in here, so I need to jot that down really quick. I need to add a weight tracker. Okay, I knew I'd forget something. This has been in here for a while. It's just something that came in some kind of order that I purchased, and I can do hard things because I've done a lot of really hard things in the last 9 months. This is where, and I was so happy to see this. I had left this in my pocket rings setup, and I forgot that I even had this. So one day when I first started my weight loss journey, I just scratched this stuff down, and I realized that I only initially gave myself 4 goals. I ultimately want to be a little bit lower than this 4th goal, But when I started at such a bad weight, I thought that there'd be no way that I even got to this. So I didn't want to like give myself an even lower standard and just feel like a failure. So I realized when I pulled this out yesterday and did the calculations, I am 1 pound away from this fourth goal, which is 66 pounds. I've lost 65 pounds in the last 9 months, and I am 1 pound away from the goal that I had to start with. And I'm kind of shocked, but super proud of myself. I also had a non-scale victory that was a really big deal this week. I had a pair of pants, again, not the smallest size I could get into, but a size that seemed completely unattainable to me when I started this journey. And I wore them when they weren't tight. They were kind of loose. I wore them at the end of this week. And so to have it was actually the same day. I hit 65 pounds and I wore these particular pair of jeans that I'd had hanging in my closet on the same day. It was a great day. It was a great day. So this is where I will be tracking my cycle. This is a freebie from Nada Notes. And she does have some really, really great freebies available. You do it through the coffee. She has like a Tumblr page that links to her coffee. And I am kind of struggling with this one because she recently sent an email list out saying that she has a new $3 like support tier where you'd be able to get her freebies. And I guess that would technically be like a purchase, but I am considering doing it because I have found several of her freebies to be really, really useful and helpful to me in my planner setup. And I feel like if you have somebody who's willing to share things like that, to donate $3 a month to her to help keep her doing what she's doing, I feel like that's not a bad thing. So I'm considering it. I haven't done it yet, but I am considering doing it. And again, I do not feel like that is trying to throw money at I guess that's the gist of it, you know. If I see it as throwing money at a problem to try to fix something, I get where that's an issue, even if using a gift card. But this I see as supporting someone who I appreciate her work. So I don't have a moral problem with that, or really even see it as a purchase in my head. I see it as supporting someone. Might be differing opinions on that, but I don't think what you will. I don't care. If I do it, I'm not considering it a breaking of my no buy. Okay, so this is just a bunch of different health related stuff that I have written down in the last 9 months that I still find helpful, and just some doctor's visit notes. The next section is my tracker section. This is one of my favorite sections in my planner. This is my recurring tasks section, and this is from a shop I don't remember, but I will put here on the screen. I really like this one, again, because it has room for you to write things. I don't need as much room for a check mark. This is also part of that bundle from Peanuts Planner Co. This is just another fold out, and it has the whole year on this one little fold out. And I am going to be writing the amount of things I got out of my house as we try to do decluttering. All of this is either clothes or planner items. I wish that I had this for the end of the year, because I probably sent out like 60 some, 70 some stickers that I sold, and it was maybe even more than that. So I really would have liked to have that number, but this is just for this year, and I'm going to keep track of the things that I get out of the house. I've also considered just using my Tombow and highlighting days that I did make purchases, which there's going to be in greater detail in this book here, but I haven't decided fully about that yet. So I can see I'm going to leave a total number of things out at the end of the month so that I can see how well I did, because that's important to me, because this is all part of the journey that I'm on. This is going to be where I write down things I didn't buy, which I started that page here. But again, I really like that this is in my tracking section. I can put all of these things together. So if I do make a purchase, I will put it here, but I'm really hoping that I don't have to add that page. I didn't put it here. I'm really hoping that I don't have to add it. This is a freebie from Plan with Bee, and this is new releases, and this is just a place to, what my husband and I tend to do is we will watch the same TV series in its entirety. Like we just finished in about, I don't know, 8 or 9 months, all of the seasons of The Blacklist. I am gutted that it's over. I love that show so much. But then when other shows come up, we're not going to stop our series and move to something else. So this is where I'm going to write down the next TV shows that we want to watch. So there's that. It's also for other things, but that's my plan. I might also add the books. I'm not really as much into movies, but I might add them here as well. But this is for any kind of new release in any of these things. This is where I'm going to track my YouTube videos for the year. I also will just note any payment that I received somewhere on the page. This is also a freebie from Nada Notes. I just love her freebies. This is where I'm going to put YouTube ideas, and then if they've been filmed, edited, and uploaded, just to keep track of things. And this is another one of the fails that I had. I've used this, oh, it's behind here. So this is the book log that I had used before, and this is from the same shop that the other one, the recurring tasks that I can't remember where it came from. This is also from her shop. I can't get it to print correctly, and I was really upset about this, and I wasted several sheets of paper trying to get this one to work. And this is one that I didn't want to be upside down. So I decided I'm not going to fight with it anymore or waste any more paper, and I just took one of these grid pages, and I thought this will give me the space that I need anyway. I am using a little star rating mini sticker from Randy.plans, and so I just took my Tombow and I highlighted how many stars I gave whatever book. So I'm just writing down what the book is, who the author is, the dates that I read it, and then my review. So now that I have covered that, I'm going to take this out of here. And then this is a insert that I historically have put in my planner, and this is just a place for me to write down purchases that I have made for my family for Christmas. And we like to hide things, so we also like to lose things. So I'll check off here when I purchased them, when they arrived, and when they have been wrapped. So I know that I have it. So I have several pages for that for this upcoming holiday. The next section is pretty light for now. This is my notes section. This is about my coloring. I get really into the whole personality stuff. So this is just notes about my personality, and that's all I have in there for now. This will get more flushed out. Again, this is why I like the ring system, because of the sections that you get to make. This is an ideas section. I have a trigger list. This is from Brown Plans, projects that we want to do around the house, and then the rest of it is just some blank pages or some blank trackers, things that I want to use in the future. I have just a little piece of, I think I laminated something, and this is the leftovers, and I just put stickies here. And then this is a pocket Filofax pocket, and I just have some stickers and post-it notes and stuff in here. And then to finish out this setup, I decided that I wanted to go back to using just this spiral bound notebook to put just running to-do lists in, and a daily page. I like that this has a little bit more room for just jotting things down really messy. And of course, I love that if it's just a really messy shopping list, I can tear it out and the rest of the notebook can be kept for memories. I didn't like that the spiral got all janky, but I like this paper and it's really cheap. And so I have given myself permission to replace things. So if I get through the rest of this dollar, is it $1? It's like, I don't know, it's less than $1.25, I think. So if I get through the rest of this notebook, I have permission to buy another one. And this, I feel like it gives me the ability to grab a page and jot it down while we're out and about without having to worry about opening up my rings or making sure that I have enough note pages in here. And I like the ability to sit and have my weekly in front of me and then also jot a daily, which with rings, it's perfect because, and I could change my mind. I just haven't found a daily that I'm excited about right now. I do want to make, I want to make inserts, but I can't, I don't know. My brain will not let myself figure it out. But I know that Peanuts Planner Co. has like the the day turned this way, but she has it in 3 sections, and I need more space to write. So I think I'd like to make an insert that just has 2 sections in it. I've had that drawn on a piece of paper forever for like planner ideas for a planner shop, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. But in the same way with rings, I can just take a daily paper and pull it out and write it down as I'm looking at that too. So that works as well. I just think that this is going to give me the best case scenario for winning with this setup. And I love that it's super small. And even with this notebook, it's not large. If I take the notebook out, it's even more slim, and I appreciate that. But I feel like this has just enough stuff in here, and it's what I need. And I can carry around my little mini purses that I like to carry, and this fits in here just fine, as opposed to the larger books. So this is going to be used side by side. This is a notebook that I am reaching for at the end of every day. And I do have a couple of dates written in here, but again, this, even though these squares are bigger, this month on one page is not my preferred layout at all. But this is where I have been coming in, and it's kind of a hybrid holding myself accountable / diary. So I come in here and I write down, these are the things that I purchased, why I made these purchases, items that I have out of the house. If I'm having a day where I need to, like, this is how I'm feeling about, you know, not being able to purchase things or what have you, I'm going to write about them here. So instead of, because I really suck at it anyway, instead of, you know, these are my thoughts and feelings for the day, which I'm not as good as writing down, knowing that it's targeted to my journey. So this is where I will be writing about anything fitness, anything weight loss, the decluttering in our home, and my struggle with purchasing. It's all going to go here. And I really like this size for that. I like that the lines aren't super tiny, and I enjoy writing on this paper. And I really love this, and it just lives in my bedroom, and it's no pressure, no fuss. And I really have been enjoying writing in it every evening. And I think that it's just nice to not worry about the paper, not worrying about what pen that I'm using. I can just grab the same pen from this to this, and the fact that this doesn't have to go anywhere, doesn't matter what size it is. So it's been really nice. So I'm really excited about this setup. I know that pocket rings will work for me. I have this kind of, you know, I wanted to stretch out and use bigger pages, but I don't have as much to write down on every day. And I then think, oh, well, you know, I've got a bunch of wasted space. And so this gives me just what I need. An appointment or 2 per day, and then the other things that I just really like to have on my page, the trackers and the lists and the places to check in at the end of the day and make sure that I've done the things that I need to do. So I think that this is going to be a really good system, and I'm really happy that I took the time to think it through. I'm proud of myself for making 0 purchases to get over this planner meltdown that I was in. And right now all I need to do is turn off seeing what's around me. I have been very rarely checking into Instagram. I went from numerous times a day to once or twice a day, usually not checking in on Instagram until the evening, just kind of, hey, you know, answering some messages that came through and watching a couple of stories from people who I like to keep up with, and then otherwise putting the blinders on. I just think that it's going to work. I need to just know that I put this together, and for the reasons that I put it together, and know that this is what I need right now, and I should be fine. The trouble is going to be, well, if I have this beautiful cover that I love, and I do have other covers, but I won't get into it here, but like all of them I have an issue with, which is, it's a usual Sam thing. But this one I'm happy with. But there's the, oh, well, I don't know. I'm a collector, I guess, and that's what collectors do, and I don't need to do that right now. So this is my system, this is my setup, and I'm proud of myself for working through the struggle. I hope that that was helpful for you to hear how I worked it all out, what my issues were, and how I stopped myself from answering a problem with money. If you did like this video, I would appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. And if you are new here and want to see how the rest of this challenge goes, or future planner setups or chats, I have one coming soon, hopefully, about how I've lost the 65 pounds and where I'm going from here. Possible videos on decluttering, I don't know. I haven't decided that I'm going to go through all of that work yet, but it's a possibility. Anyway, if you're interested in seeing any kind of videos like that in the future, please consider subscribing. What about you? Are you also in a no buy? Have you been successful so far? What have your struggles been? What are your wins? Chat about that in the comments below. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye, guys.